My name is Harry Colley, and I work with Chimera as a project manager for their SAP implementation. In this role, I was responsible for overseeing the entire implementation process from initial planning and design phases to the final go-live. A successful SAP implementation impacted our ability to achieve our strategic goals and compete in a highly competitive and very dynamic market. I think at the time, 50-something different ERP systems that didn't talk to each other and had no visibility across the company. By bringing all this together in one SAP system, we were able to drive growth and improve the innovation within the organization. Yeah, we chose Innovapte because of their very, very deep understanding of SAP and its technologies. Also a proven track record. You want someone that has done this a lot and brings a variety of experiences to the implementation. The one that comes to mind when I think of Innovapte and Yogi working on our project, actually it happened after implementation, not during the transition, but we had a system crash due to an equipment failure, actually. That was, no way we could have anticipated something like this happen. But Yogi was so helpful and critical in reconstructing the data that we had lost when the memory device crashed. So Innovapte's team, they worked tirelessly, to find out what was the root cause, the corrupt memory data, and help develop a solution, get the data reloaded properly, and it really minimized the impact on our project timeline. While the implementation was challenging, it was well managed by Innovapte. When you mention SAP implementations to people in industry, and especially the chemical industry I'm in, you tend to get a lot of horror stories and negative experiences. But Innovapte had an established, structured approach that helped us informed and engaged throughout the whole project. Yogi and his team at Innovapte has made my life tremendously easier and gave Chimera successful implementation. And they're passionate about what they do. You're not just a job to them. They realize that the success of our implementation is their success. The team is so reliable and trustworthy. In today's world, it's difficult to find a partner that keeps the client's best interests at heart, and makes the sacrifices sometimes to help their partner achieve success. So in my experience is not only an understanding of the SAP software, but the real deep understanding of business processes. Ultimately, you can rest assured that they'll deliver exceptional results. His team have been able to provide support for many years in all the various modules in SAP that we implemented and kept the business going very smoothly.
Natural Foods is a family-owned triple bottom line company, which means people, profit, and planet. My role as VP of Business Transformation and Technology is to drive leading practices in our company that helps us achieve our growth targets. We are an SAP first company. We have been building internal technical expertise in the functional areas of SAP. However, we were lacking expertise on the basis side as well as on the security side, which were key components for us to keep our SAP system up to date and secure, as well as to drive significant progress on a key initiative to overhaul our SAP security standing. So we wanted to find a way that we could leverage someone who could actually almost be an extension of our team that effectively and expertly bring us the right expertise and the ability for us to be resourcefully address those initiatives that we had at hand. So the way these challenges impacted our business was perhaps twofold. The first one is we were not leveraging being on RISE already in SAP and getting the reports that SAP submits to us to keep our system up to date with patches and different things that we have to oversee. We didn't have the technical expertise internally, so we were really spending more money than what we really needed. Secondly, on the security side, since we started with SAP to really enhance our security posture by creating roles and assigning those to people based on what they do. And for us to do that, we need to have someone who can actually understand SAP security and help us through the journey. The reason why I reached out to Innovapte is because I had already partnered with them in my previous organization. So I knew the caliber of the skill sets that Innovapte has and the nimbleness and the down-to-earth approach that they have in helping their customers. We have been able to not only now keep a contract to have external parties oversee the work that we need to do in RISE, we're doing it internally, thanks to Innovapte as part of our resources that we have collaborating with them. Secondly, we also have completed our SAP security overhaul that we just went live this quarter in our current organization. So specifically is just the ability to clean up all of our security roles across the company. We couldn't have done that without the team. Having someone who was able to keep on track all of the changes and making sure that all of the roles were created with quality were done. And that really keeps our system really more secure because people only have access to what they need. It's always a pleasure to work with Innovapte. I find that they are true partners, the real partners, in that they really are eager and wholeheartedly looking to do what's best for us. So it's just, again, an extension of our team and a real pleasure because we know that they have our best interest at heart. And one of our values is respect for our partners. And I believe that value is also embodied in how Innovapte collaborates with us.
Shred-it is a large organization that's been around for over 30 years. It provides shredding and document storage for confidential information. It is in 150 locations around the world, including North America and most of Europe. I was VP of IT at the time that we engaged with Yogi, and my role was to manage the IT department, but most importantly was to implement SAP globally. We manufactured our own shredding containers and the shredding devices. So it was a very complex implementation that included services, billing, finance, and manufacturing and procurement. It was truly the full suite of SAP. Our challenges were significant. First of all, just 150 locations is challenging. The data conversion was all locally. We didn't have a data solution enterprise-wide. So the nature of moving all our data into SAP, plus the configuration of the solution was very complex. Shred-it sold their containers and their shredding internally. So you had the intercompany billing from the head office to the multi-locations. So that added a lot of complexity in terms of intercompany billing. The challenges, of course, with different languages, different cultures that we're trying to implement the solution in. We were fortunate enough that we did not impact our customer despite the complexity of the implementation. We certainly made them aware of it, the changes that we made along the way in terms of what their billing would look like and that sort of thing. But in terms of our service and delivery model, the goal was to keep the interaction to our customers minimal, and we accomplished that goal. We liked Innovapte's relationship with SAP. They had a working knowledge of SAP and very much a lot of experience, especially in the SAP modules that we were implementing, which included procurement, manufacturing, data management, service delivery and distribution, and also finance and billing. So we wanted to make sure that we had somebody that had a good understanding of those modules and how they work together. We also wanted somebody that could work independently. What we really liked about Innovapte was that really good understanding of SAP. We're able to build a relationship with business users so that they understood the requirements, which is very challenging. And we used Innovapte not just for the implementation and the data conversion, but we used them post go live. That's often the most challenging part of the implementation is after you go live. And it was very good at supporting the business users, answering the questions, and any minor issues to resolve, they resolved them independently, cleanly, and provided me the feedback that I needed to communicate back to the business users. They could work independently, and they had a very good knowledge of the system. You can have a book knowledge of SAP, but what experience will give you is how you translate that book knowledge, and you can develop business requirements, you have to actually have experience in the years of working with SAP to do that. Innovate certainly were able to do that. And essentially they met the commitments on time and on budget. I say the biggest pain point we had was data conversion. And that was because the data that we had in our legacy systems was so unlike the data that was in SAP. And it was every different location had different data, and the data wasn't clean either. It was so the ability to take that data and move it into SAP and then clean it and add to it in some cases was a significant challenge that we had. That was probably our biggest pain point. It was one of those things where I worked, we had lots of consultants that I worked with, and probably the best way I can describe Innovate was it worked fairly independently. In other words, I could always trust them. I never had to go seek the status of where they were in a project. I was given feedback as to they were behind schedule or on top of it, but also what they were doing about resolving issues in the time frame that it would take to commit. And if they took the initiative to do that for me and provide that back to me. So I think that was probably a positive about that working relationship.